The other thing I want to share with you guys briefly, I don't want to take too much time, but I'm really excited to be able to give you a sneak preview of well, I was going to say my new plugin, but it's actually an update of Perception. So some of you may know the Perception plugin was designed to help with all of these challenges that we're talking about. When you're mastering, one of the you go through the process, you master your music, it sounds great, then you go back and you compare it with the original mix, and it's tough to make a fair comparison because the mix is so much quieter. So you have to match the levels by ear and switch between them, which is a skill that takes a lot of time to learn and is best done with a dedicated mastering console with different signal chains and stuff. So Perception was a plugin, my first plugin, to help people with this. It automatically loudness matches and sync compensates the music, so you can do a really fair A/B comparison. And one of the things that people asked for from day one was whether it was usable in mixing, and the answer was, well, kind of, but not really. So next month we are releasing it's Perception version 2, but we've renamed it Perception AB to help people understand immediately what it does from the name. And it is optimized for use in mixing. And my hope is that in the same way that Perception has helped people hear the effects of the loudness processing in mastering, Perception AB will help people hear the effects within the context of their mix. And I just thought you guys might like to see a sneak preview of it. So here we are in Logic. This is a mix that was of a song that I did for my good friend Dan Ecclestone, who is a member of the band Ember Rev. And actually I would encourage all of you to head over and check out their music. It's very cool. They're on German Shepherd Records. You can go to germanshepherdrecords.com/artists/ember-rev. They have several albums out. This was their first album, and it was very much a home recording effort by Dan. And one of the reasons I love it is that it has some really quirky instrumentation in it. So it's got kind of distorted ukuleles and prepared pianos and an acoustic bass. And I thought I could begin to show you how this works by just playing you an example of the acoustic bass. So hopefully you guys can hear that. Now, of course, in fact, I will just flick back. Can somebody say yes, you can hear that, just so I know it's working?
I can.
Excellent.
I don't know about anyone else, but
I think if you can, hopefully everybody else can. So obviously we could come over here and we could bypass both of those plugins, and then I could listen to it without the EQ and the compression, but it gets way, way quieter. So this is where Perception comes in. You put an instance in at the beginning of the plugin chain and you say, I want that to be a pre-instance. It's pre-processing. Then you come in and you put another instance at the end of the chain. Oops, click the wrong button. And you say that you want that to be post channel, because it's in a mix, so it goes on the channel. And now we have a window where we can, first of all, it syncs, just in case there's any latency involved. I think in this case there isn't. And now we can flick between the two. Oh, I've disabled the processing. There we go. So you can see we have a loudness reading for the post audio and a loudness reading for the pre audio, and we can flick between them. But we have the same problem. There is a big level difference. So I can click match level, and now you can see that the pre signal has been lifted by 13.3 dBs. By the way, the -6 figure there looks scary, but look where the fader is. It's way down. It doesn't end up being that loud, I promise. So now we can bypass that very quickly. And suddenly you can see that the somewhat aggressive EQ profile that I have for this track is doing something that I like. Overall, I'm happy with that sound. The track is soloed at the moment. If I unsolo it and we listen to it in the context of the mix, so I'm much happier with that. Even though they're at matched loudness, I can hear that the combination of EQ and compression I've used on that channel is of benefit to me. That's good. That's a good start. But the other nice thing you can do is you can say, okay, well, maybe if I want to do exactly the same thing for the distorted ukulele parts and maybe the drums, let's come in and select a bunch of channels here. Then we can come in and we can choose to put perception in on all of those channels. If I hold down Shift, I can say that I want all of those instances to be pre-instances. Then I come down here and I put perception in at the end, and I say, okay, I want all of those instances to be post instances. And then when I hit play, all of those channels are now syncing, and I can now use the bypass all button to bypass all of those channels. If I just solo them so that you can hear the effect. Again, we have the level change, so I can come in and hold down Shift and say I want to match the level of all of those. And now we have a level matched AB of all of those channels. Now I can unsolo them and I can use the bypass all again to get a loudness matched AB comparison of that kind of little mini subgroup that I've created within the mix. If I come up here and hold down Shift, I'll just remove those loudness differences so you can hear. This is what would happen if I tried bypassing all of those without loudness matching them. They disappear, so I will rematch them, and one more time. And I won't bother to show it to you now, but if I liked, I could actually add perception on all the channels in the mix and bypass all the processing in the mix with a single click, level matched and sync compensated. I'll just show you one of the channels that has some latency. Actually, I don't know whether I have one that has any latency on it. Yeah, there you go. There's 20 milliseconds of delay on that channel there. This will even work with an external analog hardware chain. And to my knowledge, there is no other plugin currently that will do this that's available. Ian Stewart has been beta testing it for us and playing with it. And Ian, didn't you say you managed to get it working on a mix with 60 odd channels? Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think the overall mix had 74 channels, and some of them were, just made sense to subgroups. So I think there are like 43 instances of perception AB across, 74 channels and buses and stuff. And yeah.
Fantastic. That's exactly what I want to hear. So we're very proud of that. We hope that will help people. I mean, obviously in my mix, all of the processing that I did was beneficial. But if I had overcompressed, one of my pet peeves at the moment is people using a ton of parallel compression. Parallel compression in some cases is better than downward compression because it will get, it can kind of add density and warmth to the mix without kind of squashing those transients. But I think too much of it, everything just starts to sound cluttered. And my hope is that if people start using a tool like this in mixing as well as in mastering, that's going to help encourage people to keep their mixes dynamic. And if the mixes come to the mastering engineers dynamic, we can keep the masters dynamic, and hopefully everybody wins. As always, I'm being an optimist about that, but I hope you guys agree. Now, special treat for you watching this webcast. If you would like to get Perception AB, the new version of Perception, you can do so. The link is not on the main page of the site yet, but you can head over to meterplugs.com/perception-AB, and you can get it with a 30% introductory discount. But if you already own Perception, the original version, don't do that, because we're going to be emailing you. You may already have had the email with an exclusive upgrade discount, an even bigger upgrade discount for existing owners already. We want to thank people for supporting Perception and our work over the years. We wanted to give you guys the best deal we possibly could. So both of those special offers will be available for the next week, and the public launch of the plugin will be next month. So you guys are getting in early because you're fans of Dynamic Range Day, which may or may not interest you. Okay.